Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Michelle and this is Michelle Creates. In this video, I am going to be doing the single crochet rib stitch. I'm going to crochet it in a straight flat panel. So I'm going to start off with a foundation of chain stitches. All right, because this is a beginner video, I'm going to be explaining things. It's starting from scratch. I'm going to break it down. So I'm going to move pretty slow. All right, first thing we want to talk about is the yarn. I just grabbed scrap yarn. I'm not using any project yarn. I'm just using leftover yarn. And this is acrylic, weight 4. And I'm using for the hook, a size I. That's a letter I. Okay, and this is the size that this yarn, on the label, when you buy the yarn, it will say will have recommendations for the crochet hooks. It recommended the I hook, so I'm just going to stick with that. All right, so first thing we're going to do is make a slip knot, and I'm right-handed, so you will see all my work being done primarily with the right hand. I'm going to take the end of the yarn and make a slip knot. So I'm going to wrap my left finger, okay, and make a loop, and then I'm going to take the yarn and push it through the loop and then pull it, and that makes a slip knot. Okay, and then to get the loop the right size, you just put your hook inside and then pull on the long end. Not too tight, just nice where it hugs on there, but it can still slide on the hook. Okay, the end here, the tail, I made it fairly short because I'm not making a project, so I wanted it a little bit shorter so it doesn't get in the way or wasting my yarn. Depending on the project, and you're going to want to look ahead to the end, what you're making will determine how long of this you should have, but typically you're going to weave it in, and if you leave it shorter, you could probably weave it in with a crochet hook, or you're going to use a needle, then you would make this a little bit longer so you can get that yarn in the needle and be able to weave that through. Okay, so that's talking about that. All right, now we're going to make our chain stitches. Setting up my yarn in my hands, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to use my index finger here to guide this. You'll see as I go along when I use this. And then in my left hand, I'm going to hold this tail here. I'm going to hold that with my thumb and middle finger, okay? And then with my index finger, I'm going to go in between the two fingers here and pull that. Okay, this will guide your yarn. I'm not going to wrap it around my finger because this slides for me easier. And after I do that, then what I do is I will hold this down if it gets in the way. I don't know, it just kind of happens to work out that way. Don't worry about it if you're not like trying to hold it with your tip of your pinky finger. The main thing is just going in between the two fingers here. Okay, and then again, the thumb and the index finger. The middle finger there to hold that. So you've got 3 different things you're holding on to. All right, giving yourself enough yarn here to work with, you want to pull that. Everything is being gently pulled, okay? Just to give you a nice tighter yarn there so it's not loose and gappy. All right, now we're going to make chain stitches. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go over that yarn and around, turn it sideways to hook the yarn. I'm going to move my thumb closer. I like to work closer to the knot here. And then I'm going to pull that through that loop right there. There's your first chain stitch, okay? You're going to want to pull that chain, right, that's where I'm using my finger, pull that chain into the middle of the hook. This is the size of your stitches right here. Don't work on the end here, that's too narrow, okay? And then we're going to do a series of chains. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take my hook and go over the yarn, wrap that around, turn the hook sideways. I'm going to move my thumb again, hook that yarn and pull it through the loop or the chain. Okay, get it back in the middle, and then I'm going to do it again, wrap it around, hook it and pull it through. Get it in the middle, take my hook, go over, around, hook it and pull it through. Okay, and again, over and around, hook it and pull it through. All right, I'm going to want to make about 9 chains So if you lose track of how many chains you're making, you can count them. Start at the end here where the tail is and count the first chain. It's where my thumb is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. Do not count the one that's on the hook. All right, we're going to make 4 more chains. There's 1. Now let's say you're doing this without looking at the video and you're just trying to do it, so I'm going to talk you through it. Making another chain. We're going to take the hook, go over that yarn, wrap it, turn the hook sideways, and pull the hook through the chain. Take your index finger on your hand that you're working with and pull that into the middle. That also separates your hook from being here. You can't work it that way. You've got to pull it in the middle. And I'm slightly pulling on each thing with my fingers or my hands. Okay, and go over, wrap, pull it through, line it up, over, wrap, pull it through, line it up. Let me count the stitches again, or the chains, starting at the beginning here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we have 9. Let's do 3 more. All right, and we're going to do this all in a consecutive motion. All right, so let's say you're working on it and you're not watching. Take your hook, you wrap it, the hook over the yarn, around, turn the hook, pull it through, get the yarn in the middle of the hook. Take your hook over the yarn, around, turn your hook, pull it through the hole, pull your yarn, your loop back into the middle of the hook. And again, 1 more, take your hook over, around, turn your hook sideways, pull it through the loop and back in the middle. Okay, now we should have 12. All right, now we're going to start to make our first row of our single crochet. Okay, this is just a single crochet. It's not even doing the rib yet. All right, so we're going to take the hook and we're going to go into the second stitch. You can't go in the first one because that's where your yarn is coming out. So you're going to go into the second stitch. Okay, just push it through right in the middle there. All right, get your yarn back on the middle of the hook. Do not work on the end here. And you're going to yarn over. It's weird because it's the first one, right? It doesn't matter, you're not going around and stuff. It's already there. It's your first one, so it's different. So get it in front of your hook. Pull that through the first stitch only. Okay, now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull it through both loops. Okay, get it back in the middle and go on to the next stitch, the next available hole basically. It's a little bit tighter because it's a chain stitch. I even take my fingernail sometimes and pull that yarn over my hook. Yarn over, pull it through the first one. Now you have 2 loops. Yarn over. I'm holding on now here to kind of open up that, it just kind of guides it and it gets my yarn ready. I'm holding it with my thumb and index finger, turning the hook to hook that yarn and pull it through both loops. Okay, and again, go into the next stitch, push it through, yarn over, pull it through the first one, yarn over, pull it through the second one. Okay, I'm using acrylic 4-weight yarn. It's literally 4 strands of yarn twisted to make a thicker yarn. And sometimes the strands can get a little separated. So just kind of watch that as you're going. I know you're starting out as a beginner, you're going slow, you're probably practicing. Just be aware that these strands, you might catch the hook and pull those strands apart. So just kind of watch for that, slow down. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes that yarn is starting to untwist because of the way it's coming from, All right, I just went into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over. Yarn over helps me as I say that because I'm yarning over the hook, if that makes sense. People are like, why are you saying yarn over? Why aren't you saying wrap? Well, wrap could be either way, right? I want to yarn over it, towards the inside, towards my hands, towards my project. Okay, grabbing onto my project, don't let it dangle here, it's harder to maneuver. And then pull it through both loops. All right, moving on, we're just gonna go no stopping here. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, first loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Next stitch, insert hook, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through second loop. I'm repeating stuff so it gets in your mind the pattern. I'm repeating stuff, I'm saying it because just in case you're not watching anymore and you're just trying to work along with me, it helps guide you where you're at. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through first loop or first stitch, yarn over the hook, pull through both loops. Okay, again, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, we're almost at the end. Second to the last, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Last one. It's the last one. There's no other loops I could possibly get my hook into. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, now we're at the end. And to start the next row, we're going to, because it's a single crochet, single one, you're going to chain 1. That's how I keep track of how many chains do I do at the end of a row. You have 1, okay? It's a shorter row. It's not as tall or high. So you do 1 chain stitch. Okay, now you're going to turn your work. And now this is where the rib starts to develop. You are going to go into the second stitch. Okay, we're going to look from the top here. All right, don't go from the front, go from the top. You're going to skip that first chain, obviously, because this is where the yarn is coming through. Okay, you're going to skip that. Go to the second one, and we are going to work in the back loop only. In here with your stitches, you've got a V, okay, that creates a stitch. So there's 2 pieces of yarn that will create that. You're going to take your hook and go into the back loop. All right, insert. Now you do a single crochet stitch, which is yarn over. It's weird because it's on the end, so you might have to let go, you know, do whatever you can. There's no special technique, only one way to do it. Okay, what am I talking about? Because you're at the end here and there's not much to hold on to, so things might seem a little different when you're working that. Okay, I inserted, I yarned over. Now I'm going to pull through that first loop, and then I yarn over and I pull through both loops. There's your first one. Okay, move on to the next one. Go from the top, look at that V right there, and go into the back loop. Okay, insert hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Moving on to the next, we're just going to keep going. Back loop only, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next, back loop only, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Just a little tip, don't pull your yarn too tight. Don't have everything tight. Keep it not too loose, but just keep it nice and comfortable, easy. Also, keep your hands stretched out. Like, don't constantly have your hands cramped like this. I know you're only at the beginning here and you're probably, oh, my hands are fine. But as you're working things, just kind of, you know, stretch them out a little bit. Don't tense up your hands, because if you're going to make an Afghan, you're going to need your hands, right? All right, now working to the end of the row here, we're just going to keep going. Insert hook, back loop only, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, insert, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm picturing you literally doing this work along with me. That's why I keep repeating it. And I also don't like to fast forward or edit to the end, because I want you to work this with me. And also, if there's any mishaps or anything that goes on along the way, I want you to realistically see what could happen, what's happening, also how much time it would possibly take, even just to do 12 chains to make a row. Okay, going on back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, one more back loop only. We're second to the last, but this is one more back loop only. Pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're at the last. Okay, to keep this nice and neat. Now I know there's other techniques, but this is what I'm using here. Okay, for basic. We're going to do this last stitch, and I'm going to go through both loops here because I like the edging better. Even if you're going to sew it together, I still like it this way. Don't do the back loop only. I'm going to go through both, under both stitches here, the top stitch. Okay, I'm using my fingernail because I want to make sure I'm getting all strands. They're separating just a little bit, so kind of a fuzzy, thick yarn. I went under both, okay, and we're going to yarn over, pull through the first loop, yarn over, pull through the second. Okay, there's our end. Now we want to cap this off or start our next row. Because it's a single crochet, we're doing a single chain. Yarn over, pull through. There's a single chain, turn your work. Now we're working the other side. This is a really nice stitch. It works really well for hats. It gives you a ribbed look. Double-sided, it doesn't curl. And even the edge is pretty cool. It's nice and neat. Don't typically need to do a border on this. See, I can already tell the edge is decent here. Okay, now we're going to do one more row. We're going to go into the second stitch. Okay, we're skipping that first one, going to the second, back loop only. Insert, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Next, insert hook, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. I'm not quite sure how fast you're moving at this point. The cool thing about videos, you can pause, you can rewind, you do lots of stuff, zoom in, whatever you need to do. I'm just trying to gauge the typical person of how fast you might be going. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, 2 loops. Get that in your mind too of your pattern, especially if you've been working on multiple projects and you're learning multiple things. You're going to get the stitches and the patterns confused. Single crochet rib, back loop only, insert, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through second loop. Okay, now I'm just going to keep going and just show you, just in case you're watching. All right, now we're back to the end. I've got one more chain or one more stitch. We're going to go under both pieces of yarn from the top. I want to get all these strands, so I'm using my finger. I even pull stuff down, like, you know, kind of work with your yarn. All right. Sometimes it loosens up a little bit when you do extra things. You could just tighten that just a tiny bit. Pull on your yarn here. All right, we're going to yarn over, pull through the first one, yarn over, pull through the second one, and because we're working a single crochet, we got a single chain. Yarn over, pull through, and turn your work. So you can tell how nice it's becoming square. It's really cute. It's got a ribbed look, and it's double-sided, so it's the same on both sides. Okay, I really hope this helps. This is a super fun stitch. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments about this video. Good luck, have fun, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.